Hello friends, I am Rajneesh and let's continue with our discussion on directory server. So in the last session we have created a directory server. We have specified the database type as BDB Berkeley database. We have added a root DN and root PW to it. We have created a database CN equal to config and added a root DN and root PW to it. So right now if we'll run Ldap search on it, we'll be able to see that there is no distinguished name, no DN, that is DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com, under which all the database will be stored. So the first objective is to create it. Let's see whether it's present. So let's try to understand this Ldap search query. Ldap search -x says simple authentication, doesn't use SASL. -b says base DN, so all the subtree under it will be visible if present. This is the base DN, DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com. -H stands for the URI. So we are using Ldap protocol on the server, ldap1.linuxcbts.com. -ll says remove the comments. So right now we see that nothing is displayed, means this base DN, DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com is not yet present. We have created a file which is tmp.linuxcbts.com. tmp.linuxcbts.ldif, which consists of the DN, DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com in ldif format. Let's try to understand it. It has an object class DC object which states that it can have a domain component inside it. So it is responsible for providing the attribute DC domain component, which we are using as Linux CBTs. The distinguished name is unique. It must be unique in an Ldap server or a directory server. And this DC should correspond to the first part in this DN. O stands for organization. It comes into picture. This attribute is there because object class organization has been included. Description says some description about the organization. So this is the ldif format that we have available for DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com. Let's import it. To import it, we'll just type the command ldap add -x simple authentication, -d is the bind DN that we provided, the root DN that we added corresponding to DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com. So that was cn equal to manager, DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com, and -f the file which consists of ldif entries. tmp linuxcbts.ldif -w states that it will prompt for password. So it says that a new entry DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com has been added. Let's try to run Ldap search query, and here we are able to see the domain component DC equal to Linux CBTs, DC equal to com. If we just have a look at the Ldap search query, we have specified various parameters, -x for plain text, -b base DN, and -h Ldap URL. We can specify these details in /etc ldap.conf, and we don't have to specify this -b and -h every time. So here is the configuration file. Here, in case we specify base dc equal to linux cbts comma dc equal to com and specify URI ldap1.linuxcbts.com, so now we are not required to specify these two things, and we are still able to fetch the results. So these details will be by default be fetched from /etc open ldap.conf. Now it is very difficult to manage the directory server using LDAP search queries. So what shall be done? For a user interface we can install php ldap admin. I have already installed it. It's a simple package present in tgz format. We have to install it. I placed it in document root. We have to install two packages, which is one is httpd apache server, mod php is to be installed for it, and php ldap is to be installed for it. Let's try to refresh it. Here is the php ldap admin. We'll be logging into it using cn equal to manager comma dc equal to linux cbts comma dc equal to com, which was the root dn, and the root dn's password, and here we are in it. So here we can see that dc equal to linux cbts comma dc equal to com is present. The next thing is we shall be adding some organizational units under which we'll be populating different kind of data. We'll be creating one organization unit which corresponds to people, and it will consist of all the users. We'll be creating an organization unit OU equal to group, and we'll put all the groups under it. We'll be creating an organization unit hosts under which we shall be placing all IP addresses to hostname mapping. We shall be creating an organization unit sudoers under which we shall be placing all the sudoers roles. So let's try to add a group named as let's try to add a group, POSIX group, name it as Arsival. Let's create a user. POSIX account, generic user account, first name. So it becomes very easy to manage the LDAP directory server using php ldap admin. Provide the password. Any format that you want to use. By default Linux uses script. Select the GID, the home directory, login shell, and click on create object. It will verify all the things, and as soon as you commit, you'll be able to see that there is a user with Rajneesh Kumar Siwal present in it. Now I can run LDAP search query, and I see that there is a DN corresponding to Rajneesh Kumar Siwal present in it. Here you can see the complete details: given name, SN, CN, user password, it's encrypted, and shell and everything. For example, you want to search only for the UID RCval. You type the Ldap search query and at the end you specify UID equal to RCval. You are able to see the details only corresponding to this user. Here you can see the complete details, home directory, login shell, and the object class corresponding to which it belongs.